South Africa during apartheid, a nation divided by color lines, laws, and fear. But behind the headlines, there are countless personal stories of families and individuals who uprooted their lives, traveling thousands of miles to find hope beyond those oppressive borders. Apartheid was institutionalized in 1948, when the South African government formalized a system of racial segregation that stretched into every aspect of life: where you could live, who you could marry, even which schools your children could attend. Policies like the pass laws controlled the movements of black citizens. The Group Areas Act forced entire communities into designated homelands, while white-only neighborhoods flourished with better infrastructure and resources. These rigid racial categories and forced relocations sparked fear, uncertainty, and the yearning for a better life. It led many to flee their homes, sometimes legally, but often by dangerous means, within the country or to neighboring countries and beyond. Imagine you're a parent. You've witnessed your neighbors being relocated to a faraway township. Schools are closed or under-resourced for your children. Job opportunities are limited unless you agree to carry a pass restricting your freedom of movement. This was the reality for millions of black South Africans. For many, the only choice was to leave. Some sought refuge in bustling cities like Johannesburg or Cape Town, hoping to blend into the urban sprawl. Others went further, crossing borders into Botswana, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, wherever they believed there might be a chance to build a life free from constant scrutiny and oppression. To truly understand the impact of this migration, we need to listen to the voices of those who experienced it firsthand. These personal accounts shed light on the emotional toll of apartheid, the uncertainty of leaving home, the heartbreak of separation, and the constant struggle to adapt to a new environment. Crossing into neighboring countries wasn't simple. Official border crossings often meant interrogation. Smugglers charged steep prices, and the journeys themselves were dangerous. Families were torn between staying in a broken system or risking everything for the chance at freedom and a sense of dignity. Many also migrated within the country, drifting from rural areas to the cities, only to end up in massive townships. The sense of displacement remained. This was a migration of survival, not of comfort. International movements against apartheid grew, and so did support for South Africans living in exile. Activist groups, churches, and community centers worldwide offered legal aid, job placement programs, and communal gatherings. Some joined anti-apartheid organizations abroad, working to put pressure on the South African government. These networks provided lifelines. They helped new arrivals navigate language barriers, find housing, and secure work permits or asylum status. People carried their South African heritage proudly, even as they embraced new identities and formed new communities. By the early 1990s, change was on the horizon. Internal resistance, coupled with international pressure, forced the government to begin dismantling apartheid laws. Nelson Mandela's release from prison in 1990 and the first democratic elections in 1994 marked the dawn of a new era. Many exiles and migrants who had fled returned home, carrying new perspectives, languages, and skills. Families that had been separated for decades reunited, and a fragile but hopeful sense of unity began to form. The Great Migration to escape apartheid wasn't just about leaving behind oppression. It was about preserving dignity and survival. It reshaped communities across southern Africa and the world, scattering South Africans far from home. Yet it also showcased the power of hope, resilience, and the human spirit. The story doesn't end with the fall of apartheid. The scars remain, and conversations about reconciliation and economic inequality continue. But through understanding these migrations, we gain a window into the courage of those who dared to seek a better life, even when every barrier was stacked against them. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of South Africa's Great Migration. If you learned something new or found inspiration in these stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments, what resonates with you about this chapter in history, and how do you think these lessons can help shape a more equitable future?